Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror fans. This podcast will cover horror movie reviews, ratings, and rankings. Now for your hosts, Danny and Joel.
Oh yeah, this is Scare Talk. I'm Danny, and I'm here with Joel the Jackal.
Hey guys, what's up?
And we are back to talk about more Scream films.
Yes.
Scream 3.
Trace.
Yes. Joel, who is in this one?
This one stars Neve Campbell, go figure. She was in Skyscraper, the Rock movie, 3 to Tango.
I didn't know she was in Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
I think she's like the Rock's wife or something in that movie.
Huh.
And The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Oh.
Then we got Patrick Dempsey. He's Detective Kincaid. He's in Freedom Riders, Transformers Dark of the Moon, Enchanted, and, of course, Grey's Anatomy. Grey's. And then we got Scott Foley. He is Roman. He is in 84 episodes of Felicity.
Oh.
104 episodes of Scandal. And Firestorm, Last Stand at Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
This was written by Aaron Kruger. He wrote Transformers 2 through 4. The screenplay for The Ring 1 and 2. The Skeleton Key. And most recently, he's going to be writing for Top Gun Maverick, which is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so he's
He's gotten a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right.
And this was directed by Wes Craven. He directed Shocker, My Soul to Take, and Deadly Friend.
All right. This one, synopsis is, while Sydney and her friends visit the Hollywood set of Stab 3, the third film based on the Woodsboro murders, another Ghostface killer rises to terrorize them. Ghostface is back.
Ghostface in Hollywood.
Oh, man.
Where you see Jane Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Make a cameo.
They come walking by. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny.
So random. Like...
all right. So this one, all the Scream films have that opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what it's known for, that and the whole, reveal of who the killer is, I would say. And then the whole meta stuff too.
Yeah.
So this opening is with Cotton.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to, he has a, talk show. It looks like
100% Cotton.
100% Cotton. Yeah. I liked that. I thought that was clever. I'm guessing they're in like Hollywood, LA somewhere.
Yeah.
And he, there's like billboards of him and stuff, and he's on the phone. He's kind of into. He started having this like kind of like arrogant character.
Well, he just wanted his name to be cleared.
Yeah.
But
he was looking for fame.
Yeah, he was.
He was looking for fame. He wanted to go on. What was it? Ricky Lake or Diane Sawyer.
Diane
Sawyer. Yeah, very different. He wanted to be
Jerry Springer.
He wanted the fame, and it seems like he's kind of gotten it with his new 100% Cotton hosted his own hosted talk show or whatever it is. And And he like gets a call, of course, from Ghostface, and has to go try to save his girlfriend, I guess, and then ends up being killed. So that's kind of the opening. What'd you think of the opening?
I liked it. I thought from 1 through 3, the openings, it's probably my second favorite of the openings, because I like that they used a character. He wasn't big. He wasn't like one of the 3 or anything like that, but he's definitely in 1 through 3. Like 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's hardly in 1.
He's hardly in it, but he is in it.
Yeah. He's like on TV.
He's at least shown in that movie. He's definitely in more of 2. So it was interesting that they used the opening scene for a person that we know from the series. Yeah. And kill him off. Like that's how you do these types of movies. If you have a character that you've already have an established character in the series, and to use them as your first kill, because that does set the tone for the movie, and makes it so that you think no one's safe if they can kill off someone that was in the first movie, in the third movie. You're like, okay, well, all bets are off from this point, which is something that is said a couple of times in this movie.
Right. It's a trilogy.
It's part of a trilogy.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we'll get into that. But it set that tone in this movie, and I like that. Okay. So.
This is the weakest opening.
Really?
To me.
Yeah.
Of course, 1 is the best. Mm-hmm. And I really like 2. I know that they're not connected to the other characters or whatever. I just like the whole setup of the theater and all that. I really like that. And then it was Jada Pinkett Smith. Mm-hmm. She was pretty big. So kind of like the Drew Barrymore thing with a bigger name actress being killed off right away. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was really a surprise with 2. Mm-hmm. With her being killed off, but this one, I don't know. It just wasn't as shocking to me. I didn't really care that Cotton was killed off. I kind of liked the character they were building for him in the 10 minutes that he's in. Yeah. I kind of liked that. I thought that was interesting. So then for him to just be killed, I thought, okay. Yeah. Didn't really go anywhere with that. But we also get to have a different kind of voice changer in this one, which is used right at the beginning of the film. Yeah. Where Ghostface can change his voice to
sound like his girlfriend at one point.
Yeah, at that point he does, but he can get it to change to anybody, apparently. Yeah. Throughout the movie, he's talking like a few different people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty convenient. That was nice. Nice little invention he came up with.
No. So you have every single person in the entire world in the thing?
Yeah, he's got a voice database in his little...
Just type in the name that you want to be and boom.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
That's a scary device.
Yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, or
I mean, it's Scream.
Sounds like some James Bond device.
Yeah, I know.
CIA.
Somehow this random person got a hold of it.
Yeah. All right. So this movie, as I mentioned in the description, takes place largely on the set of the third Stab film. Mm-hmm. So we have the big 3 characters, and then we have the actors and actresses that are playing those characters. Yeah. And then we have the director, the head of the studio, and a detective. Those are pretty much the main people.
The bodyguard.
Yes, of
David
course.
Putty.
The bodyguard. Yes, the bodyguard too.
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, he is in it. So what did you think of the overall setup and kind of the story, I guess?
So I think the setup and the story is interesting. I like that it primarily takes place on the set of their third installment in their Stab series. Yeah. Being that this is the third installment in the Scream series, I think that's They always nail the meta stuff
Yeah.
in these movies. This one of all of the Scream movies, and I'm saying all of the Scream movies at this point, has a different feel.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It has a different feel than anything else. It's like because I'm only comparing this for this particular reason. It has a Halloween Resurrection feel.
Okay.
Just kind of like a early 2000s. I guess I can't really blame the movie too much on it because I think that's just how these movies were made back then. There's just something a little off about the filming and like the lighting, I guess, and everything else that kind of made it feel like a straight to video type of a release.
Yeah.
And I had that same feeling with Halloween Resurrection where there's something just off about the way it's filmed.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just kind of a,
product of its time.
Yeah, but also let's just try to throw this together.
Yeah.
Let's not spend too much money on it and make some money.
Yeah. That could be what it is too. Because I mean, it also, the whole straight to video aspect of it is also partly the actors that they have in this movie.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably intentional because in the movie, I think they mentioned that they couldn't get the original cast of Stab 1 and 2 back. So they had to get these like B-rated, like...
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the actors themselves are B-rated, but in this particular world, in this movie, that's what they're like coming off across. So I think Stab 3 in this universe is meant to be like a straight to video type of a movie. So in and of itself, making it a little meta, I guess. But that's maybe a little far fetched. I don't know if I'm giving it too much credit by saying that. But yeah, like the characters in this movie, the actors, besides the original 3, are really like not good. Yeah. Not impressive whatsoever.
Yeah, I did not like the actors and actresses playing the big 3 in the Stab film.
Yeah.
I didn't like them.
Yeah.
None of them really had character development. They were just there to die for the most part.
Basically.
And I mean, there was some kind of, I guess, interesting dynamic because the big 3 were there with them, so they're like playing them. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. I don't think it was necessarily very interesting, but I see the appeal there, and why they did that, because that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Sydney is brought back after the Cotton death and everything. And she keeps having these visions of her mother. Probably one of the worst things about this movie, I think, is
the whole backstory mom thing.
Well, I like the backstory. I like the backstory of her mom kind of being in Hollywood, and kind of sleeping around,
her way to the top.
I didn't mind that. I thought that was kind of interesting that we get to continue to learn about her mom. I just didn't like the whole visions and her mom talking to her. Her mom had a super weird voice. It was like this ghost presence thing. It's like, that's not what Scream is. You're putting a whole new genre now into this. And I didn't like that. I thought it was really out of place. Although some of it, I'm like, was it a vision or was it real? Because he had the voice changer, so it could have been real.
It could, the voice itself could have been real, but there was a scene where she actually, like, she's asleep. This part was a dream that she was having of her mom, where she sees her like outside and she's talking to her and stuff. But then she gets attacked, by Ghostface. Like, was that the dream? Was that like because I think she woke up and got attacked. So it's like that part kind of was weird for me because it's like, okay, well, that's, you have this dream. Your mom's kind of creepy, by the way, in your dreams. I don't know if that's how you're seeing her now.
Yeah, is that how she really was? Or?
But then you wake up from this creepy dream to get attacked by Ghostface.
Yeah.
It's like that was kind of a weird little transition there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole seeing your mom thing was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Especially like why didn't we see her in 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh, it's for the plot of this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why. That's the only reason you're seeing her right now.
Yeah. Because of the motive of the killer.
Yeah, is to set up who the killer is and to set up your mom's backstory type of thing.
Yeah. I think they can still have the backstory. They can still have the motive of the killer, but they don't have to have the visions and her hearing her mom and all that. I think that was a step too far for Scream. That belongs in other movies, not in Scream.
They're going for jump scares.
Yeah. And I thought that was weird. Okay, and then we also get a little part with Randy.
Yeah.
So Randy comes
he
back.
Does make a little cameo
from the grave. His sister. This was kind of random. His sister, Randy's sister, just shows up and is like, "Oh, I heard about this and this. Randy said to give this to you. Before he died, he said to give this to you." It's like, what?
Why did he make this be?
It's really prophetic of him.
Yeah.
And then her to just, find them and show up, and then that's the only scene she's in.
Yeah.
But they put a little videotape in, and it's Randy basically telling them the rules of a trilogy. And, what a trilogy can mean. Although
in 2, I'm going back to part 2 here, when they're talking about name a sequel that's better than the original.
Yeah.
And at one point someone says The Empire Strikes Back, and he's like, no, that's not a sequel, that's part of a trilogy that was already planned.
Yeah.
This was not already planned.
Right.
This just sort of happened. So is this in the rules of Scream 2?
Yeah.
Does this really count as a trilogy?
Yeah.
Because this was not planned.
Yeah.
Like these movies, they're just like, okay, well, this 1 did well, so let's do 2. 2 did well, let's do 3. Like George Lucas had like a trilogy in mind.
Yeah.
When he did the Star Wars movies, so it's just like, do these rules really apply then?
Well, he's not talking about Scream though. He's talking about
trilogy.
Yeah, he's talking about a trilogy, but not Scream. He's in Scream. He's talking about a trilogy in real life. So
but in 2, he's talking about a trilogy is planned.
Yeah,
though. So he's obviously not talking about Scream because he's in that series. But it still applies because this was not planned. So this is not technically a trilogy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because this was not already planned ahead of time.
Okay. Okay, Joel, that's too much.
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna be meta with your movies,
it's too much.
You have to like, think about the stuff maybe that you've already said in previous movies.
Basically, he's saying, like, if this happens again, the killer might be going based off of trilogy rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I understand what he's saying. I'm just saying that this is not a trilogy.
Okay. All right.
Technically, it is because it's a third movie. But according to Randy's rules in 2, this was not planned. This is not a trilogy.
Necessarily,
yeah. I'm just saying.
All right. Too much. No, I see what you're saying. So this is not a trilogy.
But technically it is.
So, man, you really threw me off there.
Sorry.
so yeah, he gets a little appearance, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see him back because that was a big mistake, probably the biggest mistake they made.
Yeah, it really was
in this series. This whole
franchise.
Been in
5. Like he should have been 4 and 5. Like that's not okay.
Yeah. So to see him back was cool. And so these deaths, are connected to the Scream or the Stab film. Mm-hmm. So there's like multiple scripts of Stab 3.
Yeah.
And the production of it gets shut down when people start dying.
Mm-hmm.
So the director's all pissed off about it.
And who cares if they're dying? Make my movie. You don't have any actors.
And yeah, so did it start with just Cotton's death, and is that what shut it down, or did somebody else die and then it got shut down?
I think someone else died.
Okay,
and got shot. I don't know who the second.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his girlfriend died, so I don't know who the third victim was.
Yeah.
But it didn't start with Cotton, I don't think.
Yeah. So there's multiple scripts that we learn, and so they're trying to figure out, because he's killing based on the deaths in Stab 3.
Yeah.
The order. But they don't know which script he's going based off of.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's kind of cool. One of the scenes that I liked was the scene when they're getting like a fax of the script.
Yeah.
And basically they get like lured outside, and then someone runs back in for something to maybe finish the script,
to finish what it said on there.
Yeah. And then they get blown up in the house.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was kind of cool. And
his body was like, it's weird how they did that, because I don't know if that's how it would. I mean, I've never blown up a building before with people inside. Not with people inside, but like his body like started to disintegrate or whatever before the house even blew up.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, it could have started like right there maybe, so that's like weird. But I just thought that was kind of a weird little CGI moment there.
Weird visual.
Yeah.
And I think this movie does a pretty good job at kind of keeping you guessing to who the killer is.
Yeah.
It kind of makes it look like it's the detective, makes it look like it's the head of the studio.
Yeah.
Makes it look like it's the girl who plays Sydney in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are probably the biggest suspects that it kind of brings.
Mm-hmm.
And something that this movie is known for, as always talked about, is Gail's bangs.
The hair.
The hair.
It was the night, or it was the. No, it wasn't the. I mean, it came out in 2000, so it could have been filmed in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like I don't understand why people are so hung up on her hair. It's like, all right,
because she's Monica.
It's her hair.
Like she's Monica. So it's like, who are you in this movie? Like, I know you're trying to get away from, what Monica, being Monica, but you made a bad choice. I did notice that, right away, too, when she first came on.
Yeah, so. It's something that is very noticeable. It's just like, it's not something that I would just like point out and be like, that's stupid, that looks really bad. Like, I don't care. It's a movie. It's a character choice.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. She doesn't make very good decisions.
Yeah.
Just put it that
way. Okay, so we get, everybody pretty much is killed for the most part.
Yeah.
The big three survive.
Of course they do.
And then we get the reveal of the director being the killer.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this movie does not have two killers. It's only one.
It's only one. It's kind of lame.
Only one killer. And then the motive is that he is Sydney's half-brother.
Yeah.
And I guess he didn't get any sort of, childhood, and his mom left him to be Sydney's mom.
It's not Sydney's fault, but
yeah,
whatever. You're an adult now. You're not a child, like, acting out.
Yeah. So, he discovers that, and then she has all this, fame, I guess, that she didn't want, but she, her name's out there, she's a big deal, and so he's jealous, I guess, and doesn't like it, and has the, mommy's boy syndrome, I guess.
We'll say that it's the lamest reveal in the movies.
Yeah. I remember watching this as a kid and thinking it was lame, even then. I remember thinking there was absolutely no way to predict the motive here.
Yeah, no.
You could just point your finger at any character and say, oh, they're the killer, and, you might be right, you might be wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, you want to look at, okay, who would have the motive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was no way to predict that.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
And so,
you're the brother of Sydney.
half brother.
Half brother, yeah.
That's even worse. That's like a Scream 8 reveal. We're getting into half brothers now. Like, you're only on the third movie. Like, this is, save that for Scream 12 or something.
I know.
We're digging into the family tree a little too far.
A little too early
already.
Yeah.
So
there was a moment I just thought that it's like right before the reveal and everything. Okay. There was a moment I wanted to point out here. So I watch movies with subtitles just because I like to catch stuff.
Okay.
Not that I can't hear or whatever. I can hear fine. That's not the issue. I just like watching it because I like to see. If I can catch anything.
Yeah.
So, there was a scene where Jennifer, who plays Gail Weathers in Scream or in Stab 3.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most annoying characters in the movie, but
yep. Absolutely.
There is a scene where she's running from Ghostface, and right before she gets killed, and she says to the killer, "You can't kill me. I'm the killer in Stab 3." I thought that was a pretty interesting thing to have Gail Weathers be the killer in the movie. Yeah. Which I briefly talked to you about that, about Stab 5, possibly
Scream 5.
Scream 5 or Scream having her have a motive of she's still with she's still trying to write a book.
Yeah.
She's really bored. There's nothing there, there's no inspiration there.
Yeah.
And so she becomes Ghostface.
Yeah.
In it. So I was
to write a new book.
To write a new book, yeah. So I thought that was an interesting little thing to put into Scream 3 about how she is the killer in Stab 3.
Yeah.
I was like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Of the top 3 of the main 3, I could see her being the killer
with that motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. I actually just talked about that before I even watched this movie again.
Yeah. So, and that would be something wanting to, for Scream 5, if Gail were to be the killer, wanting to right the wrong of of Stab 3. Mm-hmm. Wanting to, finish that movie the right way or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that being part of the motive too.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I do remember that line too. Now you say it.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah. I was just I've seen this movie plenty of times. It's been a while since I've seen them, but I just never caught that line. She said something, but I never could quite hear what she says.
Yeah.
But it's I'm the killer in Stab 3. But then at one point she says that her character gets killed off next in the movie, previously to this. I was like, okay. Continuity is not very, but
there's multiple scripts.
Yeah, there are. And that could have been a red herring. It could have been Billy was stabbed in Scream, but is the killer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So.
And so something we have to remember too when watching this is Scream 3 hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. So Stab 3 is not based off of anything.
Yeah.
It's a made up plot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of it too. Each Stab movie is based off of a real thing, but this one, Stab 3, is not.
Yeah.
But the director is making his own movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
6 script.
Yeah.
This is the real one.
So I do like the final fight scene though. I did like what was his name? The director. Roman?
Yeah.
Between him and Sydney, I thought that was a good fight scene.
Yeah.
Sydney is really cool, battling him and fighting him. A lot of, using a lot of the environment and hitting him with stuff.
Yeah.
All that. The only thing that I really did not like about that scene was Dewey and Gale. Like, you can hear them so clearly through the walls.
Yeah.
They're like on the other side of the wall, and he's like, Sydney, I'm trying to get in. And like, you can hear him like he's right next to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what are these walls?
The walls
like,
are very thin.
Very thin. It's like, man, turn your mic down.
Yeah.
It just sounded bad. It didn't, the sound design for that scene was bad. Yeah. Because we should not be able to hear him that well. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that he's not actually there. Like, he's just in a sound studio talking in the mic. He's not, it just didn't feel real. Yeah. So I would say that was a negative there. But the overall fight was cool, like the stunt choreography and, all that was good.
That was another, so with Randy coming back and everything, what he's talking about is like in the third installment in the trilogy, no guns or knives can stop this guy. Yeah. Kind of thing. And like, anybody can die. Like all bets are off type of thing, which the detective also says, which is pretty, like there was some like red flags for sure with that character, the detective. I was like, okay, you're not the killer, but maybe you're the second one that we haven't discovered yet.
I would say he was the most suspicious.
Yeah, he was.
Especially toward the end. It was like, okay, it's got to be him.
Yeah. But Dewey actually ends up killing Roman by shooting him. Yeah. Like, but
breaking the
Randy
rules.
said that no guns and knives can stop him. Yeah. I'm glad that, he was just human. Like, basically what Randy's saying is that this is like a superhuman type of a person, or just like a supernatural type of person. And he's just a guy. So I'm glad that, he shot him in like the chest 1 billion times and he didn't go down. So he shot him in the head and like he went down. But he had to have had multiple bulletproof vests on to just be like able to like come back at him as he's getting shot in the chest. Like you're not gonna die, but those things hurt. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, so you're already going back on what you said previously. Yeah.
But this is real life.
It is, yeah. It's not a trilogy. This is real life.
So you can talk about the whole meta connection, and go round and round in circles with that.
No.
All right. I think that's all I got for this one. You got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, the reveal was lame. I don't like that it was Roman at all. I don't like that it was just Roman. Yeah. I love, like, part of the fun of these movies is it's a whodunit. Yeah. But part of it also is that there's two killers. Sometimes with different motives and sometimes with the same motive. But there's usually two. This is the only one in all the movies that I've only had one. Yeah. And I think that's kind of lame. I wanted, multiple killers is always fun. Yeah. We should get like 3 in the next installment. Have like a whole gang of people.
Yeah. Just everybody. Yeah. Everybody but Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's overall, I enjoy this movie. It definitely has its flaws, but it's definitely my least favorite of the series. Yeah. But I still have fun with it. It's still, it's still a fun ride for the most part. Even with that whole, B-rated type of a feel that it's got to it. Yeah. Like a straight to video type of a feel to it. So yeah, it's entertaining. If you haven't seen it, we've already spoiled the entire movie for you. If you haven't seen it at this point, sorry. I mean, the movie's like 20 years old. Yeah. So. But if you haven't seen it, if you're going to watch all of them in order, I'd watch it. Yeah. But if you're just going to be like, oh, what movie should I watch today? I would probably skip this one. Not randomly put this movie on. Yeah. Unless you're watching it in order or something. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're not really connected, but it's just, it's good, but it's not great.
Okay.
Or anything.
What would you, what's the score you're going to give it?
I'm going to give this one a 73. It is average.
Okay.
It's, yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I like it. I remember being, even as a kid, kind of disappointed with the reveal and the motive and all that. But it was okay. It was okay. I'm going 68.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give
it was all right.
D. All right.
Yeah, it was all right. It was passable.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, worse than 2. And 2 has continued to kind of drop as the more times I watch it, the less I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 is still a little under that, so we're going 68 on it. All right. Well, go check us out on all of our social media stuff. Go check out our Patreon page. Donate if you feel so inclined. And that's it. We're going to be getting Scream 4 and Scream 2022 coming your way soon. And that'll be it for this one. This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let Roman bite.